Hello, wonderful family. Another pleasant opportunity and a glorious day to share the word with you. Happy, blessed day to you. Today, one wants to share from the book of Genesis concerning Isaac. Hallelujah. And what God can and will do to and for you if you listen to his directions. We'll be reading from the book of Genesis chapter 26, and we'll start from verse 1. And there was a famine in the land, beside the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines, unto Gerar. And the Lord appeared unto him and said, Go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of. This was direction. He was such a privileged fellow that the Lord gave him explicit directions. Don't go down to Egypt. Apparently everyone was going down to Egypt for Sukkot, but God said, don't go that way. This is the way I want you to go. I will direct you to where you shall go. So at that point in time, he didn't tell him where to go, but he told him where not to go. So he was to look up to God for directions. Hallelujah. Let's go down. Verse 3. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee. That's the land that I will tell thee of. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and I will bless thee, for unto thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father. So it says, do as I say, and there's a blessing attached to it. All the blessings that were supposed to be attached to your father, I will fulfill in your lifetime. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven. I will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. And Isaac dwelt in Gerar. Hallelujah. He was given specific instructions. There was a life-threatening situation in the land, and the natural thing to do was to have gone down to Egypt for Sukkot. Egypt in this particular sense could mean anywhere that you see the masses running to for help, as opposed to where God is directing you specifically to. Now, God stopped him from going there and gave him instructions because of the relationship God has with his father and with him. He appeared to him and gave him direction. It says, do not go down to the popular place where everyone else is running to, but listen to me. I will direct you where to go. And if you go and do as I say, I will bless you. I will multiply you. I will cause your seed to be great. And Isaac obeyed God. That is exactly how we are supposed to have a relationship with our Father. When times of famine, whatever kind of famine or drought hits the land, we are not to run helter-skelter like the rest of the world, going for the natural. We're to listen out, look out for our Father's instructions. And he will definitely give us instructions. Now, come with me. Verse 12. Then Isaac sowed in that land, the land of Gerar, the same land that God told him to stay in, the land that God told him, I will bless you. If you obey me, if you are willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. This was a manifestation of that. Then Isaac sowed in that land. That is, he settled there and did his normal business in that land. So he engaged in his enterprise in that land and received in the same year 100-fold, and the Lord blessed him. And the man waxed great and went forward and grew until he became very great. For he had possessions of flocks and possessions of herds and great store of servants, and the Philistines envied him. So the blessing of the Lord brought all this to him, because he knew he was empowered to prosper. Because the word blessing, barak, means being empowered to prosper. So that empowerment to prosper made him settle and engage in his enterprise. So he was an agrarian. So he planted, he sowed in the land, and those plants yielded a bumper harvest. Now remember, there was a famine in the land, in the whole area. But because he listened to God, even in the midst of that famine, he planted and he got 100-fold bumper harvest. And his animals multiplied. The Bible records that he grew so great that people started envying him. He had an excess of possession of flocks, herds, and servants. This was sequel to that empowerment to prosper. And he got that empowerment to prosper because he listened and obeyed. So in essence, he was willing and obedient. And he ate the good of the land. That's where I want to cut it at today. Not because there's trouble in an area or in the land and everybody is fleeing to a particular place, the natural, that you as a child of Almighty should also flee in that direction. Pause, ponder, listen to what your Father has to say to you. And when he says it to you, have enough confidence in him to obey him to the letter. What you might end up doing might be so counterintuitive that people around you might think you are crazy. Planting in drought or in famine. But if God said so, do it. Engage in that enterprise. And then what he has promised you will come. It doesn't matter whether it looks like it or not. Everybody else might be doing the opposite, but as long as you're doing what he said you should do, at the end of the day, ultimately, what he said concerning you, that blessing, that empowerment to prosper, will be manifest, will come true for you, and it will be evident that people will envy you. God bless you. Hallelujah.